In my last video, I was talking about my 2016 F-250 Super Duty and a problem I had with the vehicle shaking after Regen. The air filter was the fix to that problem. It's really strange at the Ford dealership. Didn't look at the little clear indicator, but anyway, that was covered in the previous video. This video, I want to talk about the check engine light, and that was another weird thing. I kept taking to the Ford dealership for. I'd get a check engine light after my Regen cycle. I went to AutoZone to let them read it with their reader. I bought one of the little Bluetooth ODB2 readers, and it would tell me that temperature sensor number 1 on the DPF filter, low alarm, low limit or something like that. So I just assumed I had a bad temperature sensor. I reset it. It would run for a couple weeks and give me the same check engine light, and it was always after a Regen cycle. The funny thing with these Regen cycles is there's no documentation on it. I mean, you would think that as a big a thing that is with this truck, Ford would give you some kind of description on, and I don't know that any manufacturer does, but I would love to have more information on what's actually happening. The only way you know is researching on YouTube and kind of learning your truck, and it takes a while to figure out what's going on. So I was watching this Regen cycle and basically realized that was affecting my fuel mileage. It was affecting that temperature sensor. That's when I would get the check engine light from the temperature sensor. So I was just thinking, how can a truck this nice have such weird little problems that, I mean, they don't affect the performance of the truck per se, maybe your fuel mileage, but I mean, this truck is like the best truck I've ever owned as far as towing and driving, and it's more comfortable than my half-ton Chevrolet that I had, Silverado. But you know, you got these little annoying issues. So I started reading about deleting and tuning and that type thing, and everybody pretty much says the DPF systems they put on these trucks are crap, and that's the root of a lot of problems with them, and I'm starting to really believe that. So I researched tuners and basically found the EX-LYNK tuner, purchased that. I purchased it from PPEI that has they do their own tuning. Purchased their unlimited tuning pack where you get all the updates, and it was expensive. I mean, it was a lot of money, but I thought, this is a nice truck. I mean, all these annoying issues, if it helps me with what I'm doing. And I also purchased a stainless steel exhaust system that will be that will remove the DPF filter, but I haven't done that yet. So I got it. It's a little, Bluetooth box with an ODB2 port. Hooked it up. You can pop below the dash here. You can pop the little cover off, and you wire tie the little EX-LYNK tuner up under there. You don't see it or anything. Little cable runs around, plugs into your ODB2 port. Downloaded the tunes, and it was really confusing. I mean, there's a lot of tunes. They have tunes for fixed vane turbos. They have this shift on the fly. It's called SOFT, where you can vary your horsepower with a little selector switch, which is what I chose to do. But there's a lot of different tunes. There's tunes with emissions, without emissions, fixed vane turbos. They have TCM tunes for your transmissions. Some of them have the tunes with the actual ECM tune. And I mean, it was overwhelming. I'm like, I didn't actually know what to download to my truck. It's kind of scary. You got a nice vehicle and you're fixing to reprogram it basically, and you don't know what to use. So I contacted through the app on the EX-LYNK. They have a support app. So I contacted them, and they basically told me to use this shift on the fly with emissions. So I did a little more research and it made sense, so I downloaded it. My check engine light went away. I mean, you reset it, but it just didn't come back. I noticed that my mileage stabilized from about 9 or 10, 11 or 12, depending on how many regen cycles I went through, to around 14, which in stop and go traffic, I mean, that's acceptable with a truck of this size. I mean, it's 4-wheel drive, it's heavy, big truck. I thought, well, 14 miles a gallon sounds reasonable, but 9 or 10 is I just can't deal with that. My mileage stabilized around 14.1, 14.2. Check engine light didn't come on, and I was like, huh, that's interesting. Well, what I noticed was the regen cycle was a lot less. So what I'm thinking is the tune is running cleaner, maybe. Maybe the regen cycle is not running as much. It still runs, but maybe it's not running as much because the filter's not getting stopped up as much. And that regen cycle really affects your fuel mileage. And maybe the check engine light thing was a kind of a bug, or maybe since it doesn't go through regen as much, maybe the temp sensor isn't I don't know, isn't failing. I don't know. I don't know why. I'm in the automation business, and typically when an electronic component fails, it fails. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me how I can have a bad temp sensor and now I don't. I mean, that just doesn't, generally it doesn't work that way. So I'm about 15,000 miles, maybe about 3 months and about 15,000 miles into this. Truck runs better, more responsive. Fuel mileage is better. I'm on a trip from Savannah, or to Savannah, Georgia, from Charlotte, North Carolina today. Been averaging about 18, running about 75 miles, 18 miles a gallon, running about 75 miles an hour. Regen cycle came in about halfway through my trip. It brought me down to about 16. It come out of the regen cycle, then my mileage started creeping back up to around 18s or so. So the regen cycle thing is a huge thing with these trucks that I had no idea, and there's no documentation on it. I mean, honestly, I wish on the interface they have with your GPS and radio, they did like a graphical representation of what was going on and would show you what it was doing, and people would probably understand and like these trucks a lot better. I mean, I've researched the internet. This is a huge problem. I mean, like I said, it's a super nice truck. I love it. But these little weird problems sort of irritate people, and they take away from the truck. I mean, they really do. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I've got a stainless steel exhaust I'm going to install, and I'm going to unplug the EGR filter, and possibly after that do an air box on it, a bigger air box. And I'm going to download the tunes with no emissions, just test it and see. I'm going to try to run about another 15,000 miles, and I'll post another video and give you guys an update. But so far, so good. Thanks